Online dating and statistics. Now, as a math graduate myself, I find it to be a match made in heaven, which is probably why I didn't get many matches in the first place. But I don't know if you know this, but legally speaking, all of these online dating apps that y'all use, they have to give you all the data that they hold on you if you request it. That's thanks to GDPR. And so your boy requested all of his data. I've been using all these dating apps for a very, very long time, since college even. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and the like. I used to use loads more, but those seem to be the big three that most people use. Now, strap yourselves right in, because I think this is going to be one of the most interesting videos I've come up with. I'm going to be parsing and going through all of the data that was provided to me by Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge to see what is the most effective app for getting me matches, relationships, and whatnot, and or which has the best experience over time. Now, first off, right off the bat, we're gonna be going with Tinder. Now, I've been using Tinder the longest. Also, I should just clarify, I'm no longer on dating apps because I found someone. We've been going pretty steady actually. No arguments, not one. That's a red flag. When's the first one happening? Keep me on my toes. Anyway, so first one I've got some data for is Tinder. Now, I've been using Tinder for an incredibly long time. I mean, right here, my Tinder Insights says here, I've swiped 143,489 times. Holy crap, okay? That is a lot of swipes. Evan, that sounds like you had quite a good success rate, right? Well, of those, 109,000 of them were swipe lefts. Listen, I'm a picky man. I swiped right on 33,702 people. All right, getting in. Now, scrolling down, how many matches of those 33,702? I got over 1,000 matches. Now, I just want to note, this data is based on 6 years. So 1,122 matches over 6 years. All right. Now, of those, how many of those 1,122 did I actually chat with? 229. Oh, see, we just keep taking fractions of a fraction of a fraction. Now, most of the time it's me. I'll just swipe right on someone and then go, I don't really know if this is gonna, like, you know, you're like, oh, you're attractive, but I don't really know what else to go off of. The amount of people that have profiles with just nothing in them, what am I supposed to do? Nice hair? I don't know, give me something of sustenance, all right? Now, of these 229 chats, I actually went on 12 different dates. You do run into a lot of issues on these apps where you'll just have a nice back and forth, but then you never end up meeting someone. Some people just want the affirmation that, oh, this person finds me attractive, but they don't actually plan on meeting up. So of these 12 dates though, how many relationships? One, actually. One relationship. I don't know what I can say, really. I've been in one relationship, kind of. We weren't official, but we dated for like 4 months. So one relationship, 2014-ish, and for the most part, otherwise, no real success on Tinder. From my experience as a guy on the app, it is quite difficult to get matches at all, and even those that you do, it's just difficult to do anything else with that, unless you give Tinder money. The way that this app mostly works these days is if you give Tinder, like the Tinder Gold, you give them like, what is it now, 20, 30 pounds a month, you then get raised, so that way women that log into the app, or whoever you're looking for, well, they will then have you at the top of their feed, as opposed to anyone else. And so, with the amount of right swipes that women get on this app, as it is mostly populated by men, you're going to run into issues where if you're not paying, you're not really seen. Hi, Evan, editor here. I felt like it might be interesting to actually talk about the exact pricing model that Tinder uses. I did at one point for like 2 months try out Tinder Plus, but I felt like it didn't actually do anything. And you just get unlimited likes, unlimited rewinds, and you can change where you're located to, I don't know, see other girls from different areas or other people from different areas. However, that was $19.49 a month. They have Tinder Gold, which I underestimated the price, is £29.49 per month. And can you believe, Tinder Platinum, oh my God, $38.99 a month. That is just, it's just horrible. Like, that is just horrible. And then there you go, people actually might see you when you swipe for £38, or just use any other app, or go to a bar. Geez, I'd be buying drinks at that rate. Now, out of this activity, we've got a little bit more information. I opened the app 1,551 days. That's a lot. Here's also an interesting one here. I swiped on 1,416 days. I chatted 179 days. And on 153 of these days, I literally opened the app. I didn't swipe or chat. Oh my God. At one point, it looks like I had 50 times in a day I opened that app. Sometimes you get real desperate, guys. You've reached the swipe limit 29 times. What can I say? Jesus. My most active days were Saturday, and my least active were Friday. That's quite interesting, don't know why. 78 left swipes and 24 right swipes on average per day. All right, so basically I swipe right on, what, 25% roughly. All right. Now, I had 229 chats, and of those, essentially nearly 50% of them, I didn't reply to someone else's opening message. You gotta be really interesting, and also I just go, it's such a weird place, online dating. My chat usually lasts 22 hours. I last almost a day. And then it just fizzles. Like I said, Tinder's not quite the best for holding a good conversation. All right, about the same amount of received as it is sent messages. I send 25% more than I receive. That makes sense, trying to get out there. Oh God, have you run an ultra marathon lately? Because you've been running through my mind all day. Listen, I'm the pun guy. I make puns. It's a bit cringe, but they said they were into ultramarathon. I'm gonna run off that. My number one chat up line is just make an original chat up line based on something they're interested in and throw a pun in there. Things that don't work out. I don't have a puppy. Listen, women just want men with puppies. In terms of pickiness, it seems I swipe right on 23% of people, whereas the average of men is 40% and the average of women is 7%. So I'm in that sweet spot right there. Now, I match with 3.3% of the people I swipe right on, and women match with 33. Men match with 2.5%. So that's right, I'm 0.8% better than average. Yes! Average number of swipes per day, I'm 101. Oh, wow, interesting. Women? What? Wow. So women swipe more than men. This is something I'm learning. I guess you have a lot to go through, right? 200 a day for women, whereas it's 137 for men. Fascinating. And I'm on the small end of the spectrum, so except where it counts, you know what I'm talking about? YouTube subscriber numbers, okay? Thank you for subscribing. Anyway, COVID-19 statistics. Was I less picky during COVID? Yeah, looks like during COVID, I was swiping right on a lot more people. I was like, please. But God, online dating during lockdowns was so horrible. You'd actually get a good conversation, then realize you couldn't do anything with it. There's no like, wanna go to the pub? Roughly enough, it says here, my match rate is 50% during COVID than before. 1.8%. Yikes. I do think that it has to do a little bit with not being able to meet up with people, but also because I started using Tinder less and less and less as the pandemic went on, because the app is just not good compared to the next two apps we'll be talking about. So at the end of the day, 1 relationship, 12 dates, all these swipes. Would I recommend Tinder? Not really. Genuinely not really. I just find it was a way of wasting time, and it was almost like putting a carrot out in front of a mule. I'm just like, maybe someone on this app will fancy me, but it's just kind of hopeless because the UI is dreadful and mostly geared towards spending money in the app. Now, before I go into the next two, which of course are Bumble and Hinge, which have some even more interesting data, I do want to tell you today about today's video sponsor, HelloFresh, which will help you with your dating. Oh, of course. Let's just say you're a beginner cook and you don't know where to start. You go to the supermarket, you're overwhelmed. Don't know what to do. Nope, not anymore. Sign up to HelloFresh. You can get a box of fresh ingredients, loads of recipes sent right to your door each and every day. They're easy to follow recipes, and you can make delicious food with it. And the more you cook with these types of recipes, the better you get, the more you learn, the more skills you develop, and then hey, maybe you get some more right swipes. Just start bragging about your cooking skills in your online dating profile. I mean, just this week, I made an incredibly amazing Italian dish. There was like fresh stuff going all over there. Got some nuts ground up in there. And if you want to get your nuts ground, it was delicious. Look at this sexy B-roll. Isn't it amazing? Now, if you want to make some of your own, sign up to HelloFresh using my link in the description or using code EVAN60 to get 60% off your first box and 35% off your next 3 boxes. Thanks, HelloFresh, for sponsoring. And without further ado, let's jump back in. Okay, so the next app we're going to be talking about today is Bumble. You see, honestly, I used to like Bumble. I used to think it was so much better than Tinder because it really differentiated itself from Tinder, this app where you don't really know who you're going to get. It's just all over the place. With Bumble, the ladies message first. That's the entire point of it. And also, you used to be able to have a free filter. So if you wanted to, let's just say, make sure you only look at people that don't smoke or people that have a certain level of education or a certain height. Well, you could do that for free, and it was great. Then they decided to pull back all of those features and make it so, as you'll see, with most of these apps, you have to give them money to get the basic functionality. And so I started using it less and less. Also, despite the fact that women get to message first, so you'd think that out of all the experience on the other apps, most people would be like, oh God, all these terrible openers for men. I'm gonna wow them with, hey, smiley face. I'm not gonna reply. Actually, when I get hey smiley face on Bumble, I literally would just reply with hey smiley face, because that's the level of effort we're going into, okay? It's just, either way, I'm a salty man. Now, out of this, Bumble gave the worst amount of data. Like I said, it's just not an enjoyable app these days. All they gave me was my outgoing yeses, my nos, my incoming yeses and nos. All right. Basically, the only thing from Bumble I'm able to parse here is that I swipe right on 37.5% of people I come across. So wow, quite a bit higher. I guess that was before they removed the filters and such. And my ratio of incoming yeses to total, 8.1%. That's high, I'd say. I'm pretty happy about that. So 8.1% of people swiping on me, thank you, more than the 3% I got on Tinder. Hi, Evan Editor here, I'm back. So one of the things I forgot to mention about Bumble is it has this really, really horrible feature where every single day it will send you a notification saying someone's messaged you on Bumble, even though they've not, maybe in the past, possibly, but it's just this horrible trigger to make sure that you pick up the device, and it's every single day. And there's no way of turning it off. I believe Tinder does this same exact thing, actually. And because if you do turn off this feature, then you don't get notified if someone actually messages you. And since on Bumble, you only have a 24-hour time span to reply, it means that you basically have to suffer with having a 24-hour daily notice to open up the app. Hey, depressed boy, open the app. And I find it incredibly horrible, predatory, and the worst. Also, just throwing it out there, I have attempted a super swipe on Bumble a couple times where someone gets notified like, hey, he super swiped, he paid £2. I've never once gotten a match from one of those. Just throwing that out there. But now, the creme de la crop, Hinge. Now, most people I know that have met someone via online dating in the last couple years has actually been from Hinge. Am I being paid to say this? No, I myself found my girlfriend from Hinge. A lot of people I know also have. What makes it different? Well, it's algorithmic here. So when I first used the app, yes, this is gonna come off as very insensitive, but I used it because I thought it was hilarious. As soon as you open it, I was given the ugliest, most unattractive looking people I thought in the entire world. I would look at it with my friends in my room, but like, oh my God, like what is this app? This is the type of people using it. They just throw everyone at you, and it's basically like any old dating app. However, the first time you swipe right on someone that you fancy, the algorithm goes, okay, so you're like this type of person. And then the next person, it starts learning and learning and learning until, for the most part, from my experience, the first 10 people you're shown each and every day are pretty much like, in my opinion, 10 out of 10 people I would 100% date. I was amazed at just how good this algorithm was at showing me people that I genuinely thought were attractive and had all the different qualities that I was hoping for in a relationship partner. Now, there are paid features of Hinge as well, but they don't get in the way, unlike the other apps, and you're still given the standard functionality and, like I said, that really good algorithm that helps you find someone that's your type. Also, I think the main thing that differentiates Hinge from the other ones here is that when you swipe right on someone, the other person gets notified. It's no longer just like swiping and hoping and never hearing back. That person gets notified immediately and they make a decision right then and there. So it's less likely that you're just not seen and more likely that, hey, she didn't like you, which is fine, but it's just so much more satisfying because it's less unknown. Now, luckily, like I said, I was able to get my Hinge data as well, and from it, we've been able to find out that I had 1,465 different interactions. Of those, I sent 731 likes, and of that was 50%. 50% of my interactions. So I swipe right way more on Hinge than any other one. 50.1% of my total interactions were likes that I received. So basically, I received just as much as I gave. Wink. So of the 734 likes, I reciprocated 1.36%. Dang! Your boy is very picky, but like I said, I was really into the whole algorithm showing me things and people coming in to like me. I was like, Of those, I didn't like 98.64%, and I just removed them. I'm honest. So I had 123 matches on Hinge, and 92% of them occurred when I liked them first. And I also chatted with about 35% of the people that I matched with. Here we have my total likes and matches throughout the day. It seems that I get really into sending likes right at 7 in the morning. You wake up, you feel bad about being alone, swipe time. Sad. Now, some might view this as a negative, but as you can see from my total matches per day, you only get like 1 to maximum 3. But that is a lot of matches compared to, like I said, what I was getting on the other apps. So I can highly rep it. Now, from Hinge, I've actually had quite a few successful dates. I know they've not allowed me to input that on this website here, but I've had some pretty good like matches. I've also had some bad ones, but for the most part, I had some really, really good dates. Now, some of them we just didn't click, or I was also maybe interested in someone else, so I was a bit fickle. However, like I said, I'm in a long-term relationship right now, I think like 8 or 9 months from Hinge. She sent the first message, so I didn't have to do much work. It was about Lord of the Rings. I guess that's all it takes. In terms of like, what is it, Match.com, you got eHarmony, you got Plenty of Fish, OkCupid. They're mostly all owned by the same company at this point. You know, capitalism. Just buy out the companies and then pretend like they're different, but they're pretty much the same. OkCupid, I remember using back in the day. It was an interesting concept until it got bought by the Match company, who then just basically gutted it. There was also Plenty of Fish, which was, oh my God, if you guys remember that back in the day. That was plenty of interesting fish. eHarmony, never used, but I worked there. It was my first like full-time real job moving in the UK. Interesting. And Match, I don't know if I'd ever really use, obviously I'm very happily in a relationship, but I just don't feel like I'd ever use eHarmony or Match because their vibe is very much like, I'm 31 and I still think that is just not gonna happen for me. It's way too desperate? I don't know how to say it. Obviously, we're all desperate, but the way that they are, I'm like, I don't know. And then there's those ones that like YouTubers promote that nobody actually uses, like Badoo or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I still follow the different dating app subreddits on Reddit, and it always just makes me very thankful that I'm no longer on it. It can be a really dark place being on all these online dating apps and feeling really unloved and unmatched with, like there's something wrong with you because maybe you have the wrong type of profile photo and you begin to get really insecure about things. And I'm speaking from experience. However, just in case you're someone as well that wants to get this data and looks into it and sees something that they don't like, just know that honestly, there is someone out there for you and you're gonna love each other and it's gonna be great. Just takes a bit more time. I was on online dating for goddamn 10 years. Also, I think I'm gonna be shaving my beard and or mustache, possibly in the next couple weeks. Tell me what your thoughts are. Would I lose any more matches? Would you swipe left or swipe right? Anyway, thanks for watching. If you wanna watch a different video I've made, you can watch it right over here. Thanks so much for checking out my channel, and I hope to see you around here next Sunday. Goodbye. She dates me for my dance moves.